In May 1990, a woman named Natalie Fears reportedly gave birth to Mike Tyson's first child. This is a really interesting story. I've never heard of this. This is the first time I've heard of this story. Ecstatic, he affectionately named his baby boy D'Amato after his beloved boxing trainer and even posed with him for Jet magazine. This is the magazine cover. So you guys can see, there it is. Mike Tyson, I'm going to take care of my son and teach him character. Sadly, happy times wouldn't last. Natalie filed a $12 million paternity suit, of course, claiming Mike was not supporting their son. Blood tests soon revealed that Mike was not the father. He had already given her $1.5 million in cash at this point, cars, and jewelry, including a $100,000 check just 5 weeks before the lawsuit was filed. I saw one of the top comments here that read, "Yet no Netflix special, the Tinder swindlers in jail." I do think it's really interesting that you have all these different situations. And I think the closest we got to something like that is the Johnny versus Amber Heard case with Johnny Depp. But you don't see a lot of stories when it comes to men who were extorted, falsely claimed as fathers for children who weren't theirs. I want to see this document. Where's Netflix for this one? I would watch these. And I think I would watch them in like a series format, where you have celebrity men who lost millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars or almost went to jail over a chick who was falsely trying to accuse them while they are innocent. They don't want you to have a male advocating platform. They don't want you to have documentaries that show that also women are capable of this type of stuff. Stories coming from Golden Era Stories. I guess they're a page that share very interesting stories. I thought this one was interesting. I thought you guys would appreciate this. A few comments here. This person says, did he get his money back? There's no way. He didn't get his money back. She spent that shit so fast. This person says, you're asking the right question. This person says, sure, LOL, with the laughing emoji. Somebody else here added, he didn't. You know what? I've heard people talk about Mike, and apparently he just would pretty much give money away. He would give cars away. He's just somebody who didn't really care that much about worrying that his money could run out or was worried about saving. You guys have probably heard, there's one story I heard of a dude who they drove up together in some expensive car. I believe it was a Rolls Royce. And Mike Tyson gets out of the car and just gives the keys to the guy, one of his boys, and just tells him to keep it. This wasn't like an isolated incident. These were things that he just did, would forget a car somewhere, he's real famous, maybe drinking, partying. Someone would be like, hey, Mike, you forgot your car. I'd be like, hey, keep it. So to him, $1.5 million given to the supposed mother of his child probably wasn't something that was that much of a sacrifice at all. I'm sure he was getting ready to give her more than that. This commenter here, this is a woman who says, what's so difficult about passing mandatory DNA tests at birth? This stuff been going on forever. I'm noticing more and more and more women having this conversation about mandatory DNA tests. I'm wondering why. I'm really wondering why. Just curious. I think it's good to see. Somebody else who says that's because the states get $1 million grants from having men on child support. Yes, Title 4D. Not only do they get grants, they also give them bonuses for being effective in securing child support. Incentivize them to go after men who may be the supposed father. Imagine, right? You're in a room, the woman just gave birth, the family's happy. All of a sudden, doctor walks in with the binder and they know what the results are, and they let the family know he's not the father. What happens in that situation? Well, I'm assuming they would have to set measures to figure out who the father of that child is. And my whole thought process is they do not want to go on a Pookie scavenger hunt. Imagine what that's like. Well, who was it? You don't know? Oh, shit. How many were there? Well, okay, I could call a couple of people. I can explain. Please, please. There's just a whole lot happening in there. The violence, the type of disagreements that would pop off in that building. And I'm not saying the men would immediately be violent, but there'll be some situations where those two people in that high stress environment, things can get hectic. It would have to be done through mail, maybe later on. I have to advise that maybe the people, if they're reading it, they're separate. It just could get ugly, and that's the worst case scenario. But then it's, even if it does go the way of like, oh wow, I'm shocked, I'm surprised, let me walk away. Now let's find out who the father is. Where does he live? What do you mean you just got back from Jamaica and he could be in Jamaica? What do you mean it could be 6 guys and you're not sure? And they all clapped your chicks raw within the past 6 months. Please.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
There'll be a whole lot of confusion. Somebody else here says, let's see, what else do we have? This commenter here says, based on the cover date, baby boy is 35 years old now. I wonder if he knows that his mother lied about his paternity. OMG. What if he sees this post? Either way, I hope he's doing well, but she's got some explaining to do. Somebody else responded back to her and says, I'm sure he does. He probably does. Here's somebody else who says, imagine being the first boxer that had to fight him after finding out. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. Tyson was so furious in that ring. Watching Tyson fight, he looked like he was in there to kill. Literally, knocking heads off of shoulders seemed to be his goal. This person says, trifling hoax. Somebody else here added, he only found out the baby wasn't his when she filed a child support suit. Even after he was giving her all this money, if she didn't try to be greedy, she would have possibly gotten away with it. Her greediness exposed her hand. Her greediness exposed her. Such is the demise of most selfish people. They don't know when to stop. They don't know when enough is enough. And they soon meet their end. Listen, to my currently engaged or soon to be married man, maybe you're proposing soon. If you need a prenuptial agreement but don't know where to start and you're confused about the steps that it takes to secure one, head over to fathershaverights.com. We help you. Our guide assists you before you hire your attorney, saving you on costly mistakes and ensuring a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement. Appreciate you. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.